Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. I am dealing with the subject power plant engineering. In that topic is heat treatment and cooling water systems. The outline of my presentation is heat treatment process, necessity of cooling ponds and cooling towers, condenser water cooling systems, types of cooling towers and cooling ponds. In that, first one is heat treatment process. What is meant by heat treatment process? All heat treatment process are similar because they all involve in the heating and cooling of metals. However, there are a difference in the methods used, such as heating temperature, cooling rates and quenching medium necessary to achieve the desired properties. Examples are, in an electrical furnace, the atmosphere is either air or controlled mixture of the gases. Air combined with gases released by the fuel's combustion, resulting in various properties of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, water vapor, and other hydrocarbons. Properties of air such as oxidizing, reducing, and neutral. Stages of heat treatment. There are three stages of heat treatment: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. In stage 1, it is a heating stage. In the heating stage, the primary objective is to heat uniformly and maintain uniform temperature by slow heating. It mainly depends upon metal heat thermal conductivity, metal condition, and metal part size and its cross section. In that, first one is metal heat thermal conductivity. A metal with high heat conductivity at a faster rate than one with low thermal conductivity. In metal condition, the heating rate of hardened tools and parts should be slower than the heating rate for unstressed metals. In metal part size and cross section is to prevent wrapping and cracking. It need to heat large cross section parts slowly to allow the interior temperature to remain close to the surface temperature. And the second stage is the soaking stage. In soaking stage, the objective is to hold the metal to the proper temperature until the desired internal structure changes takes place. Soaking period is the term for the time the metal is to held at a proper temperature. The chemical analysis of the metal and the mass of the part will determine the appropriate soaking period. And the third stage is cooling stage. In cooling stage, the objective is self-explanatory, but there are different processes to return a metal to room temperature depending upon the type of the metal. To cool the metal and to attain the desired properties, if needed, to place it in a direct contact with cooling medium such as gas, liquid, solid, and combination. And the third stage is cooling stage is completed. Then, types of heat treatment. There are 4 types of the heat treatment: annealing, normalizing, hardening, and tempering. In that, first one is annealing. The objective of annealing is to opposite of hardening. Annealing metals to relieve internal stresses, soften them, make them more ductile, and refine grain structures. This process includes all 3 stages of heat treatment already covered, but the cooling method will depend on the metal and properties described. And the second treatment is normalizing. The intent of normalizing is to remove the internal stresses that may have been induced by heat treating, welding, casting, forging, forming, and machining. Uncontrolled stress leads to metal failure. Normalizing applies to the ferrous metal only. And the third treatment is hardening. The purpose of hardening is not only to harden steel, as the name implies, but also increases its strength. While a hardening, the heat treatment does increase the hardening strength of steel, and it makes it less ductile, brittleness increases and hardness also increases. And the fourth stage is tempering. After hardening by either case or flame, steel is often harder than needed and too brittle for the most particular uses, containing several internal stresses that were set during the rapid cooling of the process. And next one is necessity of the cooling ponds and towers. To absorb the heat from the steam, it is necessary to pre-cool the water coming out of the condenser before using again in a closed system. As with increase in temperature, pressure also increases. Condenser water cooling system. Cooling water system used in participate according to the availability of the water are open cooling system or one-through system, closed cooling system and mixed cooling systems. In that, first one is open cooling system. The steam is collected from the exhaust steam from the turbine is sent into the condenser. The purpose of the condenser is to cool the steam. For cooling of the steam, we need the cooling water. The cooling water is collected from the natural source, that is river. From the river, water is sent through the pipe and the water is get filtered, and after filtering, the cooling water is sent into the condenser. There is a heat exchange between the steam and the cooling water. The steam temperature get reduces and converted into the hot water, and the cooling water temperature increases and it's converted into the hot water, and the steam gets cooled and the cool water is condensate in the condensing pipe and it is sent into the feed water boiler. The hot water is again recycled to the river. And the second type is closed cooling systems. In closed cooling system, the exhaust steam from the turbine is collected in the condenser and the cooling water is collected from the cooling tower and the water sources, that is natural sources. From the natural sources, water is sent through the pump and the water get filtered and the cooling water is again used for the condenser. From the condenser, cooling water temperature increases to hot water and the hot water is again sent into the cooling tower. From the condenser, steam temperature get reduces and the water is condensed is sent into the feed water boiler by using the condensate pump, and the hot water temperature in the cooling tower gets reduces by using the atmospheric air. So there is a heat exchange between the hot water and the atmospheric air. The atmospheric air temperature increases and the hot water temperature reduces. Again the water is get recycled. The hot gases that increase the temperature will send out of the cooling tower. Next one is the mixed cooling tower. So it is a combination of both open and closed cooling towers. In this, the basic combination is that the process is same as the condenser, steam and the cooling water. So the hot water is sent into some of the cooling water and the part of the water is discharged directly into the river. And from the cooling tower also cooled water is again recycled to the river. So this is the process of the mixed cooling tower system. And the factors affecting the cooling towers: temperature of the water, humidity of the air, temperature of the hot water, wind velocity, relative velocity, shape and size of the water spray nozzles. Types of cooling towers. Based on the construction of the material used, cooling towers are broadly classified into three types: timber cooling towers, concrete cooling towers and steel duct cooling towers. In timber cooling towers are rarely used due to the following advantages: due to the exposure to the sun, wind, water, timber roots easily, short life, high maintenance cost. The design generally does not facilitate proper circulation of the water, limited cooling capacity. And second one is concrete cooling towers. In concrete cooling tower, possess the following advantage: larger capacity, sometimes of the order 5 into 10 to the power of 3 meter cube per hour, improved draft and air circulation, increases stability under air pressure, and low maintenance. And third one is the steel duct pipe. Due to this type, cooling towers are rarely, in case of the modern power plants, occurring with the small capacity. Types of cooling towers and ponds. Cooling towers cool the warm water discharged from the condenser and fed the cooled water back to the condenser. Types of cooling towers are broadly two types: natural draught cooling towers and mechanical cooling towers. Mechanical cooling towers are again broadly classified into two types: induced draft cooling towers and forced draught cooling towers. In that, first one is natural draught cooling towers. In natural draught cooling towers, we mainly use the water sprayers to reduce the temperature. Hot water from the condenser enters here and there are hurries and the water is sprayed here and the water temperature reduces and the air inlet is the atmospheric air is entered into the cooling towers from this way to this way, and there is a exchange of the heat between the water and the air, and the water temperature get reduced and the condenser water is sent into the condenser by using the pipe, and the hot water gets sent outside by using the eliminators or filters. Some of the dust particles can be removed and the hot air get outlet into the cooling tower. This is the natural draught cooling tower. Advantages of natural draught cooling tower are: it operates and maintenance costs are less since no fans are needed. It creates its own draft, assuring efficient operation even when there is no wind. Longer life. Disadvantages are: high capital cost. Performance varies with the seasonal changes. This is the forced draught cooling tower. Forced means in natural draught, air comes naturally circulates with their density. In forced draught, we are using an external source, that is, we are using the fan. So this is the forced draught fan. And here the packings are there. And the hot water coming from the condenser. And the water sprays here. So air is coming from this forced draught tower. There is an exchange of the heat between the hot water and the air. And the temperature of the hot water reduces and it is converted into the cold water and it is sent into the condenser, and the air temperature increases and it is sent out of the cooling towers by using the spray eliminators. This is the forced draught cooling tower example. Advantages are: more efficient, problems of the blade erosions are avoided, fan is located at the ground so more safe, vibration and noise are less as mechanical equipments are set on the solid foundation. Disadvantages are: possibility of recirculation of hot humid exhaust air coming out of the top of the tower. Fan sizes is limited to 4 meter. Possibility of ice formation on fan blades in cooling weather. And this is the induced draught cooling tower. In induced draught cooling tower, it is a combination of both the natural and forced. Here the natural gas is entering and the forced fan is used for exhausting the hot air. Same the process as the forced draught. This is the forced draught. Here the fan is used and the air is entering here. This is the basin and the hot water is sent into this and the drifts are used here. And there is a exchange. This is the exchange surface of the hot water and the air. And the hot water temperature reduces and it is collected in the basin and it is sent into the condenser, and the temperature of the air increases and it is sent outside like this. Advantages are: coldest water and recirculation of the hot humid, larger fan size are used, lower first cost due to the reduced pump capacity, capable of the cooling through a wide range. And disadvantages are: not economical up to the capacity of 15,000 liters of water per minute, higher power motor is required to drive, maintenance cost is high, fan bearings needing to be